Oh, sorry. So we're about 3 minutes past 2 now, so we might as well make a start. But thanks for joining, guys. Really much appreciate it. Thanks for giving us the time to showcase who we are, showcase some of the projects we've done. And it'll probably be a little bit different because I really want to focus on, especially from my side, of the Birmingham office and the type of culture that this office has. So yeah, what I'm going to do though is just going to start my video while I'm presenting, and then we can move from there. But again, yeah, thank you so much. So today is about game-changing digital in a pandemic. I am Varun, so I'm a talent acquisition partner here at Kainos. I lead recruitment for engineering, architecture and test, but we also recruit for a wide range of other disciplines as well, so like data, AI, product, design. There's so much, and if you want to have a look at the type of roles we recruit for, please have a look at our website. I've been at Kainos now for almost 3 years. Now, 3 years is going to exactly come in about 20 days or 22 days, which is awesome. It feels like I've only been here for like a year or so. But yeah, just to say from the beginning, if you want to ever have a chat about anything, maybe to understand a little bit more about us, or even about some of our opportunities, add me on LinkedIn. Just look for the guy that looks like me and with a dog, and then you'll know where to go. So, nice snazzy slide. Please read through those stats as you go along. But we are a software consultancy. We develop market-leading solutions for a number of organisations and sectors. We lead the delivery for partners including UK Gov, NHS Digital, Netflix, and Puma, to name a few. Now, at the top of this slide, it says, we are a business that uses technology to solve real-world problems for our customers and overcome big challenges for businesses. But ultimately, what this means for us as an organisation is that we make people's lives easier, especially with some of the projects that we've used, and it might be things that you've used before. One of the more recent ones, like Passport Online. So those type of things really do make the process a lot easier from what it historically was being paper-based. As an organisation, we've been around now for 35 years. We've been on that exact same mission from the beginning, which is to make people's lives better. But naturally, over that time, we've grown tremendously. And during those years, we've had some serious growth. Accelerated growth is probably over the last 10. But we're now sitting at 2,500 people, or approximately that much. And genuinely, it's the best talent in the market is who we have. And the short of that is we're good at what we do. We've grown year on year for the last decade. And what that's meant for us as a business as well is that we've won a lot of awards. So we've been the Microsoft Gold Partner. We're an AWS partner, Sunday Times Top 100, and PLC Company of the Year for 2021. Now, these awards and projects means that we have the need to grow. And as a growing business, aiming to hit 5,000 over the next few years means we really need to be the best at what we do and deliver on our promises. And that's definitely what we do. In terms of that growth, the area I really want to discuss in terms of a location is focusing on our wonderful Birmingham office. So just some quick stats about this office. We are based in the iconic Alpha Tower. It's been our home for like 4 years now, or just coming up to 4 years. Side note, actually, when I searched Alpha Tower on Google, it kept bringing up Eiffel Tower. They're not the same, even though anyone who knows Alpha Tower, they look exactly the same. They genuinely do. This building has a lot of different things for us that we can use. So we have an on-site gym that's free for us. We have a cafe downstairs. And in the actual office, we get free fruit and cereal. But this awesome building has seen us grow a lot. So headcount has gone from 2 to 207 as of yesterday. It's probably a little bit more for today. In terms of this event, this office, we host a lot of events here. Hopefully some of you have been to these before, but AI Camp was a great one that was used for graduates. They were able to come and essentially learn artificial intelligence, which as an emerging technology in the market, it's awesome for us to be at the forefront of that. Let's Talk Product again is a great thing, and it's bringing product as a thing into the West Midlands as an area. Now, these two events were actually hosted by Kainos, from Kainos, but BHXD is something that has been hosted and started by a great guy, actually. He's our design lead, Nick Harewood. He has started this. Now, that's actually separate from Kainos. So we do also sometimes host events here that is just sponsored by us. Some of the other things is like learning a skill. Not last year, the year before, we had a Vue.js workshop, which was awesome. And we're hoping to bring that back. We had a cybersecurity workshop, and then for anyone who's, let's say, starting a career, CV workshops. Now, as everything does go back to normal, we can finally host events again and bring back that vibe. Hopefully we can see some of you come again. Feel free to send some messages or, in the chat to say what type of learner skill you'd like to go forward as well. But the thing I also want to talk about most about the Birmingham office is the office's unique culture. Now, this office, the people that are here make an awesome culture here. It's such a great place to be, and anyone who works here will tell you the same. And even people that work at the offices in like Belfast or London, they come here, they say it has a very unique feel. And hopefully the next few slides will show you that. So what do we have here? I mentioned free fruit and cereal before. We have a ping pong table, which I'm not any good at. We have a pool table, which I'm awesome at. I'm the best in the Birmingham office, so if anyone wants to challenge me. There is a chart to show who's the best, but I conveniently left out that image for this. The people, though, is really what makes this office. Special shout out to Claire. Claire's our office manager right in the middle of that big picture. She's really made this office what it is. Bringing us together, taking us on these type of events is her bag, and she's created this culture here. But as you can see from here on the right, on the left-hand side, you can see a bunch of pictures. That's us at our Christmas parties, escape rooms. There's some pictures of people climbing mountains. Apparently, they like that. And on the right-hand side, you can see our payday lunch, where we went to a place called Tamatangas. So anyone from Birmingham knows Tamatangas. It's the place to be. Get the railway line. What payday lunch actually is, we haven't got it at the moment because of the pandemic, but it's where Kainos give this fantastic incentive where they allow all office locations to go out for a lunch. It's pretty much in the name. But this last slide really gives an understanding of the feel here and highlights the vibe and the culture and the love we have in the Birmingham office. So one payday lunch many moons ago, I wasn't able to attend. I was a bit sad about it, but I was checking Microsoft Teams constantly to see the pictures that people are putting up. And when I opened, I was presented with this wonderful picture that actually put me there with them. And it's this. So it's a bunch of me's that are right there. And it was just a nice thing to see. More than anything, I appreciate the effort put in my mirror reflections as well. It's fantastic, so I respect the art. But all this to say, the Birmingham office, people are at the heart of what we do. Our culture is shaped by our values, and an awesome thing is the people here share the same values as the company, and it creates a more amazing approach, and it's more synergy, if anything. And those type of values make sure our people feel supported, be the best version of themselves at work, and it's really what makes Kainos unique. So yeah, I suppose a little breakdown of today. Hope that was fun for you all. We've got Bridget coming up next. She'll be talking about onboarding and getting the culture right. We have Matt. He's going to discuss the digital transformation COVID-19 test and trace project. And then Johnny will give an introduction to data and AI practice. Just a quick heads up, we have a Q&A panel at the top. So please, or at the bottom of your screen, please write questions in for any of us. And at the end, we're going to have an area where we can discuss those questions. There's a chat panel as well. Feel free to talk between yourselves. But if you do have any questions and they go in the chat panel, I probably won't see them. So make sure you get them in the Q&A. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Bridget. Bridget is my colleague. She works in the Birmingham office with us. Again, focused on the same areas of recruitment. She's been here for just over 6 months, I believe, and she'll go into a little more detail about that. And yeah, hopefully this will be good. So yeah, over to you, Bridget.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our virtual event. As my colleague Varun kindly introduced me there, I'm Bridget and I work alongside him here at Kainos. And for this portion of the event, I just wanted to kind of follow on from what Varun said regarding the, I guess, the onboarding really that I underwent, and the virtual adaptation that we've been going through, and a little more about our culture here at Kainos. So just to kickstart things. Just a little bit about myself. So I also am one of the talent acquisition partners here, and I work within the digital services team, and I'm slightly biased, but definitely the best team in the world. And within that team, alongside Varun again, I look after our hiring needs, really specifically within the engineering capability as well. So that would be from anywhere from, junior engineers all the way through to senior software engineers and architects as well. So quite a lot. But yeah, within our organization, we do have a few other capabilities, including data, platform, product, as well, that the digital services team also look after. And in the picture that you guys probably see, it's a little bit cheesy, but it's a picture of our lovely team here in Birmingham. So you can see myself and Baron in there, and our two colleagues as well, Chris and Hammy. And yeah, just to paint a little bit picture of our team. So my journey into Kainos actually started 7 months ago, so feels like a lifetime, but it hasn't been that long. I joined here in March 2021, earlier this year, and I was part of the people going, I guess, through the new virtual experience of onboarding, and along that having to learn the Kainos culture essentially, whilst I guess working virtually and not being in the office as normal. And with the virtual experience, this is one of the areas I wanted to cover, because I know we're all currently going through it in every aspect of our working life, and had to go through it since the pandemic started. So one of the things that Kainos, I would say, really honed in on, and that we're doing within our recruitment team as well, is really assessing how life changed since the pandemic began, and adapting to how we can work virtually as well, especially for myself, having to work in a new company virtually. There had to be a lot of adaptation, which I was quite grateful. Quite a few things were in place to kind of make that a little bit easier. I just jotted down a couple of things that Kainos have done, and that we're continuing to do as well within the recruitment team and our people team as well, just to make sure that the onboarding experience essentially is still quite seamless. So close interaction with your new team. Obviously, prior to the pandemic, people are able to meet in person. You can meet your team before you even start, and all sorts. But since things have changed, that kind of luxury was almost taken away from us as well, including for myself. So I really appreciated having close interactions with my team. We use MS Teams, and I know other people use different channels as well, just to keep in touch. We also do daily stand-ups and buddy systems as well, and that's across all of our teams, whether technical or non-technical. And one of the things that we found really worked is having a buddy system as well, especially within our capability, where maybe someone, just to adopt any issues really that could come around, to stop people from feeling isolated as well. So being able to have a buddy that you can almost relate to all the time, and it doesn't necessarily have to be work related. Flexibility is a huge thing, introduce flexibility of where you work and how you work, which for me made a huge impact as well. Not entirely being tied down to being in the house all the time, and not having to travel into the office 5 days a week. So for us, our flexibility is that it's activity-based working, and it's essentially down to each individual what's going to work best for themselves, and for that better work-life balance as well. As well as that, we've got more access to channels as well, whether that's on some of our internal teams and MS teams as well. So this I found this quite useful, that you can now reach out to people that you necessarily would not have been in touch with as they're in another location, but you've got similar interests as well. So channels such as this, like Women in Tech, for example, which I'll cover later, are also part of that, which really helps people, I guess, to adapt. It's definitely helped me as well. And a key thing as well is encourage time away from devices. Obviously, being in an office, we're all able to, you know, go and have a chat at making a coffee or making a tea or having a, you know, a little natter with someone that you work with. And essentially, since the pandemic started, we recognise that that element is, you know, essentially kind of taken away from us. So we do really encourage time away from your device, or at least time away from work. Just so you can kind of refresh and not be tied down to the screen altogether. So just wanted to show you, I know Varun talked about some of the events that we did before and that we still currently do. So these are just some of a series of events that we used to do in person before the pandemic as well. So this was a picture taken actually within this very office of a tech innovation event that took place a couple of years ago. As you can see, there were a couple of snacks, some new faces, you know, where we'd welcome people within Birmingham to come and join us. Or to talk as well. The next event is the Artificial Intelligence Camp as well. So this is more for our academy and our grads, where they can learn how they can develop machine learning technologies, really, that essentially help all of us improve our lives. Once again, this was an event that used to take place, obviously, in the office, as you guys can see, and people can really get together. So we did have to come up with a way of still having that human interaction with our teams and, you know, people interested in what we do. And adapting that to, you know, the scenario where we can't always meet in the office. So we had to shift to virtual events. So these are just some of the events that some of our team actually have done over the last kind of year and a half. Let's Talk Product was one of the meetups that we started doing virtually and adapted as well. So I know one of my colleagues from my team, Katie Walker, that's one of the products she was heavily involved in as well. So that was one of them that we started doing virtually as well. The Code Camp, that continued going on virtually as well, where, you know, we still enabled academy joiners and junior joiners around that. Yeah, so a little bit more around Let's Talk Product, and as well as that we had Tech Connect as well. That was mainly from our platform team, as well to talk more about cloud with one of our partners, Hacker Jobs. So yeah, these are some of the stuff that we've been doing really over the last couple of months virtually. But one of the things that I feel that Kainos really did well, especially for someone like me joining virtually, was getting the culture right. And it can be daunting joining a company where you essentially don't know what the feel of the office is like, what people are like, what the dynamic is like. But one thing that really helped ease that was the Kainos culture, and whether people are working virtually or in person, you were still able to get that feel. So for us, it's, you know, what makes our people unique. And I love being able to say that I work for a company that is open and inclusive, that works in a very modern way anyway, even before the pandemic, where people like myself can feel empowered, connected and supported as well throughout their career. So jot down some elements as well when it comes to our diversity and inclusion. So we are very committed to equality and diversity and to creating an inclusive culture. So some of the stuff I've jotted down were, you know, some of the things that we've got within our organisation as well. We've got Birmingham Women in Tech. So that is something that a couple of women in Birmingham from different capabilities, whether they're working data, in product, in platform, can come together and really discuss in an open space, yeah, and just really get together. We also did some work with Microsoft about bringing more women into data science as well. So that has also been a really growing area for ourselves, which I know one of our colleagues will go into a little bit later, around data and how that area for our organisation is growing. And yeah, when it came to bringing more women, that was an integral part for ourselves as well. Kainos Voice, another initiative as well. So that is really for our global BAME network essentially. So people like myself, you know, I am a woman and I'm a black woman, so knowing I work in an organisation where you know, other people who are ethnically diverse are welcome initially and able to speak freely as well about the experiences was extremely beneficial. And the final that we do as well is Kainos expression. So that is more, once again, to create a space, really an inclusive space, an open space for our team and people that we work with, part of the LGBTQ plus community, where they're also able to really know that we are an ally as well, and working with them. So those were the areas I wanted to talk to you about, once again, just to give you a better insight, whether you work for us or you're new to us, in terms how I found the last kind of 7 months or so, and yeah, just the steps really that Kainos are taking to continue keeping, you know, the inclusivity, the diversity, and I guess just that culture going, whether we're virtual or not. So no, thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bridget. It's really interesting, actually, especially from a recruitment perspective, where you're introducing people to the business and you're trying to allow them to understand what it's like to join Kainos. And what's good from your side is you're in quite a unique place where you've been through that same thing, where you've kind of not really met the team face to face and gone through the whole onboarding process. How has that helped you onboarding new candidates into the business?
Yeah, it's been super helpful. I think, like you said, having been through that yourself, you do know that, you know, someone is essentially making a huge life decision, leaving their job and completely changing their lifestyle as well. So for my side, it's really having that empathy and keeping really close contact as well, whether you know, it's a couple of weeks before someone joins, up until the day they join, and after that, you know, anyone that's joined alongside myself or since myself, I do make sure that they know that, you know, they can always reach out to myself, and encouraging the different connections as well. You know, someone joining may not know who they can speak to and who they can reach out to, so I always try my best to make sure that they're also pointed out to a buddy if that's what they need, or, you know, they've got the right support as well from their line managers and their career coaches, and just being supported as well. And I think the first 6 months of anyone joining in, whether virtually or not, are always going to be tricky, and it's just making sure that some people are still, you know, feeling that connection as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for that talk. It was really interesting, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you on another talk as well.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Right, yeah. So handing over to Matt now. Matt he's focusing on the digital transformation around COVID-19 test and trace. And this should be a really interesting one. Again, guys, please feel free to send questions through the Q&A. We'll pick them up at the end. And yeah, over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Varun. Good afternoon, all. So, my name's Matt Lewis. I'm a solutions architect here at Kainos in the digital services space. I joined back in February 2020, and I'm currently the lead solution architect on the COVID-19 test and trace program. There's a picture of me looking quite smug. Obviously just beat Varun in the game of pool. So what I'm talking to you today about in particular is what we went through in terms of transforming a national testing service to reply to the pandemic. So everybody's been impacted by COVID-19, and when we started this journey, the challenge really was to build and iterate a nationwide service, allowing for all people from all walks of life to be tested for very different reasons, and really to set the scene there, just to understand the complexity and the challenge that was set there. I thought I'd call out a couple of the areas that we had to cover, and we've had to cover over the last 18 months. So initially, really we had to start thinking about key workers and the general public, those who were showing symptoms of the pandemic. How can we get tests out to those individuals to see, to test themselves, to see whether they were positive or not, and give them the support they needed should they test positive. But then if you start branching outside of the general public and the key workers, really moving into the other areas around the UK, we were having to provide testing services for things like the prison services. And that's not just the inmates, but the staff themselves as well. Being able to coordinate different testing technologies into those services and being able to look at the data and act accordingly. Obviously, we have tens of thousands of schools, colleges and universities across the country as well, with hundreds of thousands of students that we need to try and keep safe and secure from this pandemic. So it was a real challenge then in that distributed model of being able to provide testing capability for students alike. I'm sure you've all missed your holidays, and international arrivals was a very big challenge as well. Not only because we wanted to protect the people within the UK, but we also needed to ensure that those travelling from locations outside of the UK could be tested effectively, and make sure that we're protecting ourselves from any variants that weren't already in the UK. We've also had to cater for the likes of individuals who may be going into hospital for treatment or procedures or any kind of elective care, making sure that we're able to provide testing capabilities in advance of them having that treatment done, so we can ensure that the staff of the hospitals and the patients themselves are safe. So there's many different examples here of the different challenges we face to provide that testing capability across the UK and further, and many more examples like that. So it was kind of if you think there was no real blueprint for this, COVID-19 came along all of a sudden. We didn't have a national testing infrastructure, and we needed to provide that capability pretty quickly. And whilst testing capabilities did exist, I should say, in the NHS, they were very localised across many of the different trusts. So we had to spin up something that was going to reach across the nation quickly that could be scaled. So this was back in March 2020. So it was very much a standing start. But through some of the outstanding talent that we have here in Kainos and within the NHSD and their other delivery partners, we set about that challenge, and within April 2020, we were able to go live with an initial service that was able to provide appointments for key workers. And on the first day of that service, we provided 16,000 appointments on that new digital platform. If we fast forward 18 months, the platform has evolved significantly. We're starting from 16,000 appointments on the first day. We now have a digital platform that does cater for all the scenarios I spoke about earlier, and has the processing capability of returning more than 10 million results per day. Now, just to give you a kind of idea of the changes that we've gone through over the last 18 months, I've pulled out some of the significant changes over during that period. These are very much solutions that Kainos have been very involved in, but they don't really tell the full picture. There's a huge amount more in there, but it gives you a flavour of the amount of change and the amount these platforms evolved over time. So as I've already mentioned, back in April, we introduced testing for key workers using the PCR technologies. And it's worth mentioning as well, when this pandemic started, the testing technology wasn't really there either. This had to be spun up very, very quickly. Moving into May, we then introduced the capability of being able to book appointments into walk-in centres, drive-through sites, and also have the ability for tests to be delivered to their home addresses. In June, we expanded the testing capabilities and technologies by introducing the ability to book and take an antibody test as well as an antigen test. Back in July 2020, as the numbers started to rise, we introduced the ability to order a bulk in certain areas where there was an outbreak. So that was enabling our home ordering service to be able to send home test kits out based on postcodes or locations so that they could be targeting specific areas. By September, we'd increased capacity across the service, including some of the satellite labs that were testing our PCR tests, so that we could scale specifically up to 10 million tests per day. By October, some of the testing technology had also evolved, and we started to introduce lateral flow testing. Initially, they were at assisted test sites. You may remember the outbreaks in the likes of Liverpool, Manchester, where we created sites for people to go and get those lateral flow tests done. We then expanded that service to allow the public to actually take LFD tests themselves and report their own results, so that they could do them in the comfort of their own home, rather than having to go out to test sites and have somebody actually administer for them. In February, we introduced the ability to test and quarantine individuals arriving in the UK from international destinations. You may know that as a traffic light system. This was very much focused on those individuals coming back from or arriving from destinations that were classed as amber or green, where they would isolate themselves at their home address or another address, but were required to take tests and prove that they were able to then come out of isolation. Sorry. In March, we expanded the ability for testing across the entire nation. So previously, we were having to prioritize certain cohorts, and by March we had the ability to open that up and allow the entire nation to be tested. We also introduced testing for secondary schools, so the ability for tests to either be picked up from the school or delivered to home addresses, and then for to be registered, those results to be registered against a certain school. And then finally, in July, we also introduced the ability for the NHS app to retrieve testing data from our service as part of the COVID Pass integration app that showed information about vaccination and testing history through a QR code. So just give you a scale of the platform and the amazing success that we've had in such a short period of time. There's some real significant numbers behind what we've done. So I'll call these out. So as we stand now, we're able on average to process 625,000 lateral flow results through the service per day. By May this year, we've actually processed more than 230 million tests, and those have been processed digitally, pushed through the relevant systems and returned to the subjects as well. We have a lab capacity across the UK for PCR and antibody testing for 800,000 tests a day, and that's only increasing. In terms of the peak times over a week, in September 2021, we processed 5.65 million tests for people, where we saw 162,000 of those testing positive. When we introduced the school testing, we saw a peak of 2 million tests being processed within 24 hours, and the children returned back to school. And we had plenty more capacity to do more than that. In these 18 months that we've been building this service, we've done over 750 upgrades, evolving it from the initial key worker service all the way through the vast amounts of capability of what I've discussed today. And as I mentioned earlier, this is now a mature capability that is able to process return more than 10 million tests a day, should we need to. So some really remarkable numbers there. That's the end of my talk. Hopefully you found that interesting. If you do have any questions, please ask. I'm happy to answer any you might have. But Varun, back over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. That was great. It's, you know, good insight into something that's affected everyone over the last, God knows how long. It feels like forever at the moment. But that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And now, yeah, over to Johnny. He's going to give an introduction into data and artificial intelligence practice within Kainos and what that looks like. So yeah, over to you.
Thanks, Varun. So, hi guys, as a quick introduction, my name is Johnny and I'm an engagement manager in the data and AI practice. I have worked at Kainos for coming up on 4.5 years. A key aspect of my role in Kainos is building positive relationship with our customers, but I'm also responsible for solving issues, assigning the appropriate teams, tracking delivery milestones, managing customer expectations, and working with the sales team to help explore further opportunities. So this is a bit of an overlap on what Farron shared earlier, but I think it's important as it shows who we are as a company. Well, I'm going to focus on data and AI today. As the guys mentioned before, there are a number of other exciting departments and capabilities at Kainos delivering cutting edge solutions for our customers. We have 13 offices globally. We are key cloud partners for Microsoft and AWS. We have a growing customer base of over 550 customers. 98% of which rate our services as good, great, or excellent. And Kainos has won over 40 national industry awards for the services we provide our customers. Kainos are a leading partner for data and AI. We have a highly skilled team of over 100 people across multiple capabilities and growing at a rapid rate. We are advanced data and AI specialists for end-to-end production of machine learning in the cloud. We have an excess of 100 data projects delivered, ranging from advanced analytics to deep learning across multiple sectors. We are passionate about helping our customers by both delivering state-of-the-art solutions and building capability across our organization. We specialize in machine learning operations or ML ops, using our well-established best practice to implement highly scalable solutions. We are highly experienced at delivering secure data transformation at scale. So as we've mentioned, Kainos are a partner, and we're going to focus on the Microsoft and AWS partnerships now. Kainos is a market leader in cloud services and one of Amazon Web Services' first consulting partners in Europe. Kainos are one of a small number of AWS partners to have achieved advanced partner status. I've listed some of the key factors around what makes our partnership with AWS so strong, and I'll list a small subset of the many successful AWS hosted projects we've delivered to our customers. Kainos is also an award-winning UK Microsoft partner, having been named Microsoft UK Partner of the Year in 2018. We are Azure Cloud Solutions Partner, hold Azure Advanced Specialisms, and are included in Microsoft's top partner programs. Again, I've listed some of the key factors around what makes our partnership with Microsoft so strong, and a small subset of the many successful Azure hosted projects we have delivered for our customers. What sets Kainos apart from the competition? We focus on 3 key things to make sure that our customers get the best experience when they work with us. The first is to engage with our customers as true partners. We get to know them, understand them, and go beyond their expectations to really change the way they work for the better. We hire smart, motivated people to give them everything they need to grow and develop. And we continually invest in innovation, making sure that we're at the forefront of technology and share that knowledge with our customers. I want to introduce you all to one of our flagship programs. We've touched on it a little bit in some of our previous slides, but this is a bit of an overview of our ML ops or machine learning operations. ML ops introduces DevOps rigor into machine learning and transitions data science from highly manual to semi-automated to full automation at scale. Over the next number of slides, I will try and explain this process. But ultimately, we build scalable, automated, end-to-end machine learning pipelines in the cloud for our customers. MLOps drives alignment between data science, engineering, and operations from pilot to production. We engage our customers with an initial discovery phase where we understand the needs of the customer. We then develop that understanding into a scope of work with a pilot or proof of concept. We follow our mature ML ops process through model deployment to model monitoring and model optimization to provide a fit for purpose solution in production. ML ops leverages end-to-end DevOps and ML cloud technologies, IP accelerators, and industry best practice playbooks to enable organizations to quickly and efficiently transition from tactical to strategic use of data science in production at scale. Our data and AI case studies demonstrate a breadth of data capability across government and commercial clients, leveraging the best-in-class cloud tooling and technologies. First, I want to have a look at demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is a way for companies to accurately anticipate demand for products and services through the supply chain, even under uncontrollable conditions or circumstances. By implementing personalized demand forecasting machine learning models, our customers can easily achieve an accurate forecast in a number of different ways. In partnership with DVSA, Kainos undertook demand forecasting analysis into theory test trends, such as first-time applicants and pass rates, to challenge thinking on what they should offer in a future theory test service. The findings concluded that the year-to-date pass rate had dropped, whilst the demand for tests increased within that same period. Some of these insights allow DVSA to adapt the amount of test centres they need, but also drive curriculum adjustments into driving schools and test centres. Kainos Document Insight allows exactly what it says. It allows you to extract insight from your documents. To begin, knowledge mining starts with ingestion of unstructured data across a multitude of digital mediums. The data must be enriched in order to extract information, find patterns, and gain understanding based on the scope of the project. Customers then use this enriched data to integrate it into their business applications, streamline their processes, content management, and ultimately use the enriched data to make key business decisions with a high degree of accuracy. HMLR receives approximately 20,000 land register applications per day that require manual processing by casework teams. Complex legal documents can take up to 20 minutes to compare manually, and the work is tedious and error-prone. As part of a service improvement workstream, Kainos developed a proof of concept using artificial intelligence to compare the contents of land registration and transfer documents to detect differences and check for required information with the submissions. This is now being developed into a production application based on the success of the POC we developed. So guys, in conclusion, these are the data and AI services on offer at Kainos. Our experienced team of specialist data engineers and data scientists create new data products that help organizations meet their data-driven goals. We know how to make data the driving force of an organization. By helping collect, share, and combine data assets, we give our customers back time to increase efficiency, productivity, and innovation. As experts in agile data delivery, we turn data into intelligence to unlock our customers' full potential. Whether it be rapid implementation or bespoke integration, we will deliver. We deliver AI solutions to customers all over the world. Through our perfect blend of AI-driven techniques, we give our customers the insight they need to extract the true value from their data. The key to ML success is making it operational, repeatable, and scalable. Our team of award-winning experts help transform the operational gains from data science to boost productivity. And for IoT, when it comes to smart cities, hospitals, and factories, Kainos are the experts. We build real-world solutions to drive efficiency, engagement, and sustainability. Back to you, Varun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, no, that's fantastic. So thank you so much for that. Really interesting again. And hopefully it's a lot of information for people out there of the type of innovative things we're also doing outside of our standard delivering projects. This is a lot more. That's fantastic. So yeah, in terms of a Q&A, got some questions, which is awesome. So the first one we'll answer is, in terms of flexible working, do you accommodate part-time working? For example, do you allow employees to work 4 days a week? Now, this is something that we will look at on a person-to-person basis. There is something that we do offer, but it's definitely something that has to also work for us as well as you. But we do offer a lot of flexibility already in terms of flexible working, a hybrid model of working at home and within the office, and to an extent, some input in terms of travel. So yeah, it's definitely something we can look at. If you want to, I can't see your name, but if you want to add me on LinkedIn, and we can have an open conversation about these type of things. There's just another one that's come through as well, which is probably more related to myself and Bridget. Will there be return to the office? Now, we're already kind of doing a phased return in terms of our offices. We come in a few days a week. Now, it's not an absolute necessity that you come in, but it's something that you want to do. And it is definitely something that we are actively doing between all of us. Yeah, so I've got one here from Matt. So what has been the biggest challenge that you and the team have faced during this project?
It's a great question. I think what I'll say is it's the time pressures I think that we've had to work to here. The pandemic's a once in a generation thing, and you can't really ask it to slow down for you to be able to build things timely to keep us safe. So the rate it was evolving, and the pace in which things were changing on a daily basis, and the impact it was having to the nation, made it a real challenge, but a challenge that I think I've demonstrated earlier we really stood up to by producing some really, really strong and robust and scalable solutions that have allowed us to tackle this pandemic in a world-leading way.
Yeah, totally agree. Done excellent work on that project, and especially with the overall constraints that the world just weren't used to. So that's fantastic. Got one for you, Johnny. So how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected how you deliver for your customers?
Yeah, I don't want to quote Matt here, but that's also a good question. The reality of it all is it hasn't. If I think back to March 2020, I think Kainos kind of mobilized 98% of its staff from working from home solely within a number of days. I think we are fortunate with the projects that we deliver and the work that we do that we can deliver almost exclusively remotely. We've proven that. Some of these great collaboration tools such as Zoom and Teams and Google Meet and being able to share documentation. You can have documentation that customers and colleagues can comment on, and collaboration tools are really allowing remote working to be the norm. I've actually been in the office half a day in the past 19 months, and that was to get my laptop fixed, so I had to go in. So yeah, no real issues with that. Most of the customers that I've worked with in that period have also been more or less exclusively remote working, but we are beginning to see what Varun said there. A number of those starting to move into office working, which is great to see. But in conclusion, no issues at all with remote delivery. If anything, it's probably aided efficiency.
Okay, awesome. That actually leads quite nicely onto Simon's question. So Simon has said, where are your development centres based? At the moment, at least for the last 18 months, we've been 100% remote. But it does based on project. Being a consultancy means a lot of our projects do fall on client side. So it depends where they're based. Some are based in London. We have some in Birmingham, Leeds. But there's been some projects that we've had in like Cardiff and things like that as well. So it really depends on the project. But at least for the last 18 months, it's been 100% remote. Got another one here for you. Matt, so what are you most proud of from being involved in this work?
Or, well, I think hopefully it came across in the presentation, but it has been incredibly rewarding. I've worked with some very, very talented and dedicated people in Kainos and wider within NHS Digital and some of the other delivery partners. And it is massively rewarding because we are serving millions of people, you know, on a weekly basis. And everywhere we look, this is having an impact. You know, everybody, I was sitting on the train this morning on the way into the office, and I looking across the carriage thinking, you know, pretty much everybody I can see on this carriage has probably used part of that service to get tested for this pandemic. And that's not something you can save any times in your career. So it is hugely rewarding to work on something that is so critical at this point in time.
Awesome. It looks like we got a follow-on one for you, Matt, from Simon. So did you drive the tech stack selection, so for the COVID solution, and how challenging was it to integrate into existing NHS civil service systems?
That's a great question. So Kainos, it was a delivery partner for NHS Digital, but we worked very closely as a partner with us to define the technology. As I mentioned in the presentation, there was nothing there was only kind of localized testing capabilities. We had to build something from scratch really to be able to deliver that nationwide. So it was very much a greenfield project. We did have quite an open conversation about the direction we went, and we did use some pretty cool tech in that space. I can't really go into the details, but one of the things we used was serverless architecture, which allowed us to build things very quickly, very effectively, that scaled very well and was very secure. In terms of integrating down into existing systems, some of the legwork was done through some of the existing pathology capabilities the NHS have. So it wasn't that difficult, actually. The difficulty was getting something in place that was going to serve the whole nation. And when you turn to build these capabilities, you don't necessarily expect the entire nation to have to use it so regularly, so quickly. So that was the challenge. But we chose the right technology, we believe, to answer that question straight away, that challenge straight away.
Awesome. Thank you for answering. We've got another one. This is probably a bit of a broad one. So is there mentorship when starting out? Yeah, for sure. I mean, at all levels, whether you're software engineer all the way up to architecture, you're going to have that level of support from your colleagues and from, you know, the people you work with. It's definitely something that I can say from my own personal experience, you know, having a team around me that supports what I want to do, having a manager and, you know, that really supports what I want to do. It's definitely there for you, especially if you're doing something new. You know, there's been plenty of occasions where there's been engineers that have come in and picked up a new technology that they haven't done before, and they're given that support. You're not ever thrown on a project on your own. That's not how it works, because we want to set you up for success, and that's what makes the people here good, is that you're given that ample opportunities to pick up new skills, new technologies, and really help you thrive rather than put you in a state of hindrance. Is what I'd say. Do you think I'm right, guys, on that one?
Yeah, pretty much agree. Yeah, I pretty much agree there, and especially for, like I said earlier in my presentation as well, that buddy system is quite useful, where maybe you haven't got that complete face-to-face interaction that you would have had beforehand, and you do need some more mentoring. You know, you're already partnered up with someone who can pretty much assist you, and yeah, at any level as well. You know, we really push forward for people to actually share knowledge, whether you're junior or, you know, one of the senior members of the team, and really passing on that knowledge, really, that will actually help have a more efficient team as well. So yeah, we really push forward when it comes to mentoring.
I'll just add to that. Having joined Kainos 18 months ago, one of the things that blew me away was that mentoring and guidance support was 100% part of the culture, straight from the off. As soon as I walked in and joined the company, I felt that I was able to talk to anybody on any project, on any role, about anything, and they were always very supportive of anything that we needed to do. And you quickly pick that up, and it becomes a part of you yourself. So you're never alone. It's fantastic here at Kainos in that respect. It literally, it's built in the culture from day one.
Yeah, awesome. Totally agree. It's definitely it's a big positive here, is what I'd say is that level of support, because I've never had it before. I've worked for a few companies before, big corporates, smaller companies, but never really had that level of support, which is fantastic to see. I think we have one more question. I'm sure I answered this question, but I'll go over it again anyway. Will there be a return to the office? Yes, but the way of working is different. It's going to be a more hybrid model of working. You know, we've delivered projects for how long. We know people can work properly, being remote. So yeah, there will be return. There is return happening right now. Myself and Bridget and Matt are in the office right now. So yeah. I can't see any further questions. Yeah, awesome. Well, look, what we'll do is we'll wrap up here. Again, thank you so much for everyone who's turned up. Really super grateful. Thanks for listening. And if we ever have any, you know, if you ever had any questions you want answered or follow up on some of the things these guys have spoken about, or even just wanted to chat, feel free to get back to us. Has anyone got anything else to add before we shut this session?
Yeah, we do have one more question actually, in terms of someone wanting to know, what does our recruitment timeline look like? So that's probably one for you and I, Baron. Yeah, if it's in terms of you know, how long it would take from kind of the initial conversation, we'd normally say our SLAs are probably about 2 weeks or so. If we're going to put it down to time, it can be quicker, it can be a little bit longer, depending on what's going on. But yeah, we try and keep it as efficient as well. I know within our capability, we're actually streamlining the process a lot more as well. But it does compose of obviously a chat with either Baron or myself, or one of the talent acquisition team, and then a conversation with the technical team as well, just to go into a little bit more detail. But yeah, we do really try and streamline that. But at the moment, it's no longer really than about 2 weeks or so. But yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Oh, yeah, all right, awesome. Again, yeah, thank you so much, guys. And thanks to the guys who have actually spoke today. So Matt, Johnny, Bridget, thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully, guys, we'll see you at other future events, and hopefully we can do this face to face. But yeah, brilliant. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.